There's a fundamental truth about life that shapes pretty much everything, but it's something we almost never talk about. It's like this invisible force that is quietly and constantly steering the entire course of our lives.
So let's just jump right into it. The core idea is simple, but wow, is it powerful. Your life will go wherever your attention goes. Just let that sink in for a second. It's such a direct, almost shockingly simple statement. And what's so wild about this is how it completely reorders what we think is important. I mean, think about it. We spend so much time crafting these big dreams, setting intentions, making meticulous 5-year plans. But this idea suggests that something else, something happening every single moment, is way more powerful. And that's your attention.
Okay, here's a really powerful way to picture this. Think of your attention as the steering wheel of your mind. Simple enough, right? It directs your thoughts, your feelings, your focus. But since your mind is basically the control center for your entire life, that means your attention is ultimately the steering wheel for your destiny. Wherever you point it, well, that's where you're going to go.
But here's the thing. The really critical question is, are you actually the one doing the steering? Because for most of us, if we're being totally honest with ourselves, the answer is probably not.
Yeah, instead of actively grabbing that wheel and choosing a direction, we just drift. We end up becoming passengers in our own lives, just letting our attention get pulled from one thing to the next, with no real intention behind it.
So what's yanking that wheel out of our hands? Well, it's a constant, relentless barrage of outside forces. It's the apps on our phones, the endless pings of notifications, the nonstop fire hose of entertainment and advertising. But it's also the quieter stuff, right? That silent anxiety of comparing ourselves to others, the grip of fear, the heavy weight of what other people expect from us. They're all in a constant battle for control of our steering wheel.
So what happens when our lives are run by all these outside forces? We stop living proactively and we start living reactively. Our days just become this series of putting out fires and jumping from one distraction to the next. And then we have the nerve to stand back, look at the life we've built, and wonder why we feel so lost and disconnected.
Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? How do we start taking back control of the wheel? Well, it all begins with this really powerful shift in how you see things, a whole new way of understanding what your attention truly is. This is a huge reframe. Attention isn't just about focus or concentration. Think of it like this. Every single time you give your attention to something, anything, you are casting a vote. You're casting a vote for the world you want to live in. You are making a declaration that this matters.
And think about what that vote really means. It's permission. When you give something your attention, you're saying to that thought, that feeling, that piece of news, come on in. You have my permission to take root inside of me and actually change who I am. That is an incredibly powerful act.
And you can see how this plays out, right? It's a direct cause and effect relationship. It's almost like a formula. When you cast your vote for curiosity, your world literally grows. When you vote for fear, it shrinks. Consistently voting for comparison, you're building a world of insecurity. But when you place that same precious vote on gratitude, you start to build a world of abundance. It's a clear equation for building your reality one moment at a time.
All right, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually do it? How do we turn this powerful idea into a concrete practice we can use every single day to take back the wheel?
Well, the end goal here is something called self-authorship. It's basically the practice of becoming the conscious author of your own inner story. And you write that story simply by choosing which details you notice, by deciding what gets past the gatekeeper of your mind.
And it can start with something so simple. At the end of the day, just take a moment to ask yourself this one question. What did I let in today? What information, what feelings, what voices did I give a VIP pass to? And were they worth it?
But look, the point here isn't to be perfect. You're not trying to achieve some flawless, perfectly curated mind. That's just impossible. Your task isn't perfection. Your task is simply awareness. Just noticing where your attention went. That's the victory. That's the whole game. Okay, so now for the tool you can use right in the middle of the chaos. Anytime, anywhere. It's unbelievably simple. You just pause, place a hand on your chest, just to kind of ground yourself, and you ask one crucial question. And here it is. This is the question that puts you right back in the driver's seat. First part, where's my attention right now? And the critical follow-up, is this where I want my life to go? This simple little act is like grabbing the steering wheel right in the middle of a dangerous drift. And I know it sounds simple, but you cannot underestimate the power of this.
Every single time you ask this question, you're making a tiny course correction. And over weeks and months and years, all those tiny little corrections can completely change your final destination. It can literally redirect the entire course of your future.
At the end of the day, it really all boils down to this one simple, powerful truth. Your attention is the food you feed your mind. And just like your body is built from the food you eat, your life, your reality, your very self is built from the ideas, emotions, and information you choose to feed your mind. So the real question isn't just, where is my attention? It's, what am I choosing to build my life out of?